I says to Mabel, I says, oh, sorry. Hi, my name is Seth Christenfeld. I am the literary manager for the York Theater Company, and welcome to tonight's installment of In the Pipeline, our newly-ish named streaming series of new works in development. As literary manager is a fancy term for the term co-op. I can talk, I promise. Literary manager is an East Indian word co-opted by the British Navy to mean guy who yells at inanimate objects in the green room. That's a joke for people who have come to Mufties. What it really means is that I deal with all of the new work that we do, with the scripts that come in to our as submissions, and I liaise with writers and talk to them about their projects, help their projects to be the best they can be, etc., etc., etc. So during the pandemic, I've been doing these semi-regular evenings where, since we can't do our usual cohort of readings and labs and concerts, instead we do these evenings where I bring on a couple of writers for a couple of shows and chat with them about their work, show off some of the show in video form or audio form, and just let you, the audience, see what is going on in the world of musical theater, in the world of stuff we at the York love. And because you are part of the York family, I hope that means you love it too. I'm coming to you live from my parents' house in the lawless wilds of Westchester County. If you listen really carefully, you can probably hear the howling of circling wolves. Okay, maybe not. But tonight we are going to be presenting, it's pretty hot out, so tonight we're going to be presenting two seasonally inappropriate musicals, both set in the cold, cold days of December. So the first show you'll be hearing from tonight is called A HANUKKAH CAROL, or GELT TRIP the musical. And with a pun like that in the title, it's got to be good. So we're going to start by showing you a little trailer that the writers have put together, and then we'll bring them up to chat.
Causing more this year is more. Hanukkah times May.
Shut up! Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up!
And a happy Hanukkah to you, miss.
Ugh. Alexa, why does everyone suck but me?
Sorry, I'm not sure about that. Would you like to hear this?
No, Alexa, off. God, you're so fucking needy.
Tonight, you're gonna be haunted by tree spirits.
Tree spirits? Oh, like in Pocahontas, like Grandmother Willow?
Dude, don't be a...
Ho, ho, ho!
A Hanukkah musical? Sounds crazy, no?
It's a miracle from all the options where the show you choose. It's a miracle. 2 hours you can't watch or read the news.
Amen.
With somebody got that Christmas show.
There's finally one for Jews!
Jews. Whether Orthodox or Goy, we invite you to enjoy.
The producers are aware. Do a mitzvah, spare a share.
A particular union going all in the trails and headlights, give it a spin. On.
Shut the up!
Carol.
Ugh, humbug.
All right, welcome to the stage, lyricist and librettist Rob Berliner, composer Aaron Kenny, and librettist and original conceiver Harrison Bryan. Harrison, you're muted, so you know. Click on the microphone. I like that.
Yeah.
Welcome, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
We're great.
Great.
Happy
Yeah, happy holidays in July, Seth. Thank you for giving us a reason to celebrate.
figured it was a good time to talk about some holiday magic when it's hot as balls outside.
It's always Hanukkah somewhere, right? Isn't that how the saying goes?
Something like that. I think
Yeah.
I remember that.
In our hearts.
In our hearts.
In our hearts, yes. It's always Hanukkah. It's always Hanukkah in our hearts.
Here you go.
There.
I approve of the mug. So,
Did you make that for tonight, Harrison?
I literally found it in the house that I'm currently staying at. I mean,
very nice. So, what gave you guys the idea to do A Christmas Carol, but with Hanukkah?
Sure. Yeah, I'll have to take you back to when I was 5 years old. My parents raised me and my sister to believe in the Hanukkah fairy, which is just as real as Santa Claus to us. We would go to sleep and wake up at the night after Hanukkah Eve, and the house would be decorated with dreidels on and blue and white streamers and menorahs everywhere. I mean, it really felt to us like there was a magical being amidst us, and fairy believed in Hanukkah as much as my parents did. Fast forward, traditions later, and we're sitting around the table a couple of Hanukkahs ago, and I was challenged to write a play in a 24-hour play festival. And the challenge was to take the entire Christmas Carol and put it into a 10-minute play. And I just thought, not that. Let's put a Hanukkah Carol into a 10-minute play. And I shoved it in there. And I mean, I've never been so excited by a 10-minute play. And the audience just went nuts. And it lasted 20 minutes because 10 minutes was laughs. And, people weren't mad at me. People were like, you got to keep going with this. And I was like, I don't know. And then Aaron and Rob from the BMI program were like, we're interested in writing a musical. And I've sifted through all of my plays and my short stuff, and nothing felt more ripe and more fun and more like true to my like family's heartbeat than to take this basically a 10-minute sketch and transform it into a full-length Hanukkah miracle musical. And so that's sort of the dirty etymology of it, and I mean, I can't tell you what a true gift it'll be when my parents, get to see this show on opening night and see the effect of the Hanukkah fairy in my life and what it's become. So.
Already such nachas, I feel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aaron had worked with Harrison. Oh,
for those who don't know, despite the last name that means Field of Christ, I am in fact totally Jewish. So.
Totally Jewish.
We love you
totally
either way.
Jewish. Yes, I'm sorry, I cut you off, Rob. You were saying?
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just going to add that. So Aaron had worked with Harrison. Actually, Harrison is a very gifted and accomplished performer, and they were working on a different project. And Aaron and I had been writing together for a few years already, in and out of the workshop, and he kept saying we should really talk to this guy Harrison Bryan. He's really funny. He does puppets and voices, and he writes funny stuff. And we said, okay, let's test out the waters. And we actually wrote a 15-minute musical together. And after that experience, we thought, this is a fun dynamic. We had a really good time with that. We should do something else. And so Harrison sent us basically, I don't even know if it was all of the short plays we've written, but a lot of them.
It was like 20 PDFs.
It was great. And definitely different writers could have done different things with different launching points from those. But to me, as also another member of the tribe who grew up loving Christmas, the name A Hanukkah Carol and the fact that I didn't know of A Hanukkah Carol existing already was like, he had me at the cover sheet. So, I mean, the play itself was really funny, and I actually just revisited it again a few weeks ago and was surprised how much has survived. It's also very, very different, obviously, 10 minutes to 2 hours. But yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Terrific.
So far.
So let's move on and we'll talk a bit more. We'll talk some more in a bit. But first, we're gonna watch one of the songs from the show, which is called "Click Block." And would you like to set this one up for us? Someone.
Sure. Yeah. So in our version of the story, it's modern day Brooklyn, and our Scrooge type character is a young woman who a millennial vlogger named Chava Knipschen. Her family name is Knipschen. And but to her followers, she's known as Queen Vava. She's completely obsessed with her online persona. That is entirely what she's about. She disregards her family, as you'll see. Well, I guess the song sort of is meant to establish the character, so hopefully you get a sense of where we're going with this. She has just brushed off her parents, who have called to again invite her to come home to Long Island for Hanukkah. She has again alienated and been kind of a dick to her roommate and once childhood friend, Barb Cratchit. And here she is. She takes solace in the only friend she has left, her Amazon Echo, Alexa. So.
Alexa, read me comments with the most likes.
Comment. Wow, Vava. Is your life as much a mess as your new vlogs?
Oh, haters.
Comment. I remember when Queen Vava was funny. She sucks now.
Ew, whatever.
Comment. You suck.
Alexa, stop.
Comment. You suck.
Alexa, I said stop.
Comment. You suck.
Alexa!
You suck.
Yeah!
I'm calling in command cause I'm the queen of my dominion. But people got no class and every ass has an opinion. I owe it to my royal fans, my 100,000 loyal fans, to banish all the haters from the flock. I click block. When the shady throw me shade, I click block. That's the way the game is played. So thank you for your thoughts, but maybe first connect the dots. Cause if your feedback isn't girl, you fucking rock. I click block.
Alexa, read me comments from VIP subscribers only.
VIP subscriber comments. We love you, Vava.
Same.
But your last video was #boring.
Ugh.
We love when you make people cry.
I know.
Incoming call from Dad.
Send it to voicemail.
Can't wait to see you tonight, Chavela. Is this the little girl I...
Incoming call from Mom.
Alexa, stop. Compose email to parents.
What would you like to say?
To Sophie and Erwin, I hate the way you treat me like you think I'm still dependent. I'm not your little girl, the most I'll give you is descendant. And Dad, you always cringingly sing Fiddler on the Roof to me. But honestly, I've had it with your schlock. I click block.
I'm not going.
And no matter how you nag, I click block.
Cause tradition makes me gag.
Your daughter's fully grown, enough with blowing up her phone. Just go have Hanukkah with Harnuck and with Bach.
And once and for all, leave clap emoji, me clap emoji alone. Alexa, send.
I click block.
Hey world, hey! Happy Vava Day! Love all of you. Even those of you who make my life a living hell. Love you too. Just kidding. Block!
If your parents are too clingy, or your childhood friends obsessed,
if your haters flame the comments cause they're mad you're #blessed, you can drop them all completely. If they bug you around the clock, let them know you're good without them if they even dare to knock! Barb! Get the door!
Hey, I've seen you on the YouTube. My orphanage is in trouble. Wouldn't it be a miracle?
Nope!
I click block.
Till I'm brighter than the sun, I'll click block. I look out for #1. If I'm gonna build my cloud, I gotta take the garbage out. And so I've got to slam the door and bolt the lock. Bolt the lock. Bolt the lock. And block.
Well, that's a lot of fun. Good,
Yeah.
Good button at the end there. So, Rob and Aaron, you guys met through the BMI workshop, correct?
We actually met, believe it or not, in a writer speed dating event. I sometimes say that the word writer and people give me a quizzical reaction. Yeah, Ken Davenport a few years ago did a sort of pair up thing. Ironically, we were not paired up, but we had chatted beforehand. I had come from a book signing, I think, where there was wine, and I had a few glasses and felt like I'm going to get something out of this event. I was looking at the time for a librettist, and they ended up putting me along there were 2 sides for 3 parties, and they ended up putting me alongside all the composers. So I didn't get to talk to any composers because I wasn't looking for one, but he found me anyway, or I found him. So that accent and that punim, how was I going to? How was I not going to see?
Aaron hasn't said much yet, but he is surprised. But he is Australian.
That's part of his charms, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so
we've been writing.
I knew you had written stuff together at BMI, but now I know that you didn't actually meet there. I have heard plenty of your work before, and we're all friends. So we've shared a bill at least once, I think, for Muse Match,
right?
And yeah, so tell me a bit about how you guys work. Do you usually go music first? Do you go lyrics first? Do you just kind of yell at each other until something emerges?
I know for a long time, I mean, we kind of trapped ourselves in a room together for a long time to just sort of like map out how exactly we're going to turn this 10-minute play into the full-length musical. Like, what are the beats? So I know that I came along with like a trillion suggestions, and Rob and Aaron were really great at sort of really like focusing it and finding where the musical dramatic beats needed to land. And fortunately we had the structure of Dickens work to sort of map our own journey with as well. So it sort of was about that. And I would, with Rob's guidance, a lot of times sit down and just chunk out tons of dialogue pages until we got to a song place. And I'd be like, this is the song place. And they'd go work on the song, we'd come back. So I would say it was a lot. It was definitely book heavy, I think, first in the process, but the songs really like trickled in a very, I think, authentic timeline as well. So I think it was really free flow for the most part.
Seth, are you asking the age-old question, which comes first?
Yes, which comes first, the music or the lyrics? The contract.
How do you address that? What are you asking?
I'm curious how you guys work, because I'm always curious how other people write.
I'm curious how Aaron thinks we write, so he's on the spot.
No, I mean, and also, I mean, to Harrison's point too, like, Rob and I have been writing for quite a few years now, and it's a case where we can totally go off and, if we come up with an idea for a song or a placement and go off and write it, but as time goes on, I find it more and more, efficient that you're writing a song that's someone got a message or an email that's truer to the story, the characters, and the dramatic moment that you're trying to tell sort of at that point. And what point of view have you not shown, or what world are you in, as well as what is your musical world that you're in here as well, which was, that's a whole another conversation about, particularly for our show. To answer your question though,
this is an easy question.
Yes, yeah, we have.
We do both.
We do both.
We start by knowing what the dramatic context and the point is. That's the most important thing for us. Since we've been writing together, it's always been about deciding what is the song trying to accomplish. I think we usually come up with a hook before either of us starts writing. What's cool about A Hanukkah Carol, as Harrison mentioned, is it has come from every direction. The first couple songs that we wrote were springboarded off of those story sessions that we had, and I went home and needed a song for a BMI presentation and wrote this next song we're going to hear, Up in Smoke, just off of the idea that Marley's ghost was Bob Marley, and then sent it to Aaron. And the same thing happened with Click Block, where I was like, okay, we want her to have some artifice to her. What is the most pop sounding, influence we can use? And we thought, okay, vintage Britney, kind of Pink, angry sound. And so that was what, and Aaron and I will come up with a few songs that together we want to have playing in our ears when I'm writing the lyrics, when he's writing the music, and we're passing back and forth. So we'll have a Spotify playlist or something like that. And that does usually seem to work well for us. But yeah, but some of those were lyrics first. Many of them were music first.
Great. So that leads us perfectly into Up in Smoke. And I think you did a pretty good job of explaining the context for that just now.
Great.
Yeah. She smokes a little kosher kush and is visited by her imagined bobblehead spirit of a Marley.
She receives a mysterious package from Jamaica, which we learned is actually Jamaica Queens, of kosher kush. And again, just finds herself whisked away on a guilt trip. Guilt trip. Some sort of trip.
Guilt.
Well, happy marijuana, Marley. Oh, what?
Hava, what's good, man?
Bob?
Marley, I bring to you a warning before you take another talk. By the time this night is morning, you got to answer for the things you broke. You're headed for disaster from the deed you didn't, word you spoke. And soon poof go your dreams, poof go your plans. Up in smoke.
No freaking way! Oh my god, stop moving. Let me take this selfie.
No, man. I'm trying to be serious right now. Smoke this and listen to Marley. There are starving kids in China. So big lad, you got the things you need.
Oh god, you sound like my mother.
It's this song I sings in mine. Because you're smoking Jewish weed.
Oh, I'm high.
Change your selfish ways hereafter. My warning words are not a joke. Or like the Hanukkah oil or a pot to boil, you go up in smoke.
Up in smoke? Oh, are you telling me not to do drugs?
Oh, you do whatever you want, my darling. Just tune me out and smoke your ganja. But when you're lonely and in debt and you only feel regret, don't say that no one wants ya.
Wait, what's happening?
You gotta learn to think about us. Change your ways. That's why tonight you're gonna be haunted by tree spirits.
Tree spirits? Oh, like in Pocahontas, like Grandmother Willow.
Dude, don't be a dick.
So, you're the ghost of Bob Marley and you came here to teach me a lesson?
Nah, man. The real Bob Marley's got better things to do in the afterlife than this white millennial bull. I'm your imagination. You're talking to a bobblehead. You're high as fuck. The life we live is fleeting. You never know if it's the day you croak. You best make it worth every moment on earth. Don't let it go up in smoke. Tree spirits, man. Don't be a dick.
That's not right.
Oh, but it so is.
Yes.
I have to say, that was the incomparable Michael James Scott, who really worked his magic, genie pun intended, on this song for us, and Katie Luke, who is a friend of the show and the fiance to Harrison Bryan, but a very gifted actress in her own right.
Yes.
And the first track was Talia Suskauer, who's now back on the road on tour as Alphaba and Wicked. So we're very, very grateful to have such incredible performers bringing our songs.
Terrific. Terrific. So what has been sort of the show's life so far? Have you had the chance to do any readings? I know you talked. I know at one point you were going to be doing a concert, but I think that didn't end up panning out. As I remember, I was all excited to go to it. So, what has been sort of the life cycle of A Hanukkah Carol so far?
Yeah, I mean, look, like any new piece in development, like the main concern for us with writers was like getting it to the best place that it can be, and so that involved a lot of like internal reads, a few private table reads of the show for sure. And as well as like really using the pandemic to strengthen the material. And we're at a place now where the score and the libretto are at a really strong place because of all the work that we've been doing and all the independent sharing and the feedback we've been getting from those experiences. And so, now that the show is at a place to be shared, and we're really excited and looking forward to this coming Hanukkah as an opportunity to certainly put it on its feet and get it out there and invite people so that, in the very near future, we could be sharing this with as many people as possible.
We did a table reading. Oh, sorry, Harrison.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, we're in talks with artistic directors and certainly some regional theaters as well, because we think that there's a real excitement and a real uniqueness to this holiday show that we just don't see a lot of, So,
Seth, we started writing. Sorry, Harrison. Yeah, I just wanted to give just the quick recap because we're more familiar with this journey than I think Seth might be. We started writing with Harrison in the spring of 2019. And we put together a private table read in December of 2019. And by that point, the feedback we were getting was we thought we were in pretty good shape. And the feedback we got, and we only invited our most trusted writer friends, or I was very specific in who I invited. If you're watching, thank you for coming in for supporting. And the feedback was that, honestly, at that point, we had a show we felt was better than a lot of shows that get produced. But so we were hoping to put it on its feet in 2020. And obviously, so were a lot of folks that didn't get to do that. And we were fortunate to use the opportunity, that extra time to really tighten up the show, write a couple new numbers, rethink some stuff. And so, as Harrison said, we feel more ready than ever.
Yeah. And we also, we were able to conceive it for a cast of 8. And if you've ever seen a production of A Christmas Carol, you're dealing with like 40, 50, 60, different characters across past, present, and future. Hanukkah Carol functions the same way. We go through the past, the present, and future with almost 80 different characters. And in our show, it's conceived for a cast of 8 to put on many different hats, costumes, shapes and sizes, types, and really just lean into that creativity and imaginative quality. So that was a big thing that progressed as we kept writing and building more characters and keeping the same amount of actors.
I should mention, Seth, I know we're running short on time, but I do want to say that thank you for sharing the trailer with the audience. The trailer was born out of our pandemic frustration because we couldn't do a meaningful reading. We didn't want to do it over Zoom. Obviously, we couldn't stage anything. And so we wanted to share a piece of the show with as many people as possible. And Harrison came up with the idea of a teaser trailer, and we wound up getting it animated beyond our wildest dreams. And so that's why our kind of goals for the show have expanded from putting it on stage to putting it anywhere people will watch it, including film, TV, whatever. So
I meant to ask who animated the trailer, because it's really perfectly done.
There's a studio in the Philippines called Caricatura Studios.
Excellent.
We have the info. We can send it to you if anybody reaches out.
They'd be happy for more work.
We're not as wealthy as that makes us look like we are, or were, I guess, before we spent all our money on that. We're very fortunate.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us tonight. We're going to close out with one last song, but I want to thank you guys again for joining us tonight. And while you're here, we have a little bit of places people can find you and the show on the internet. They can find the show at ahanukkacarol.com. They can find you at Robin and Aaron at berlinerandkenny.com, and they can find Harrison at harrisonbryan.com.
That's how we spell Hanukkah. You can also visit achristmascarolforjews.com, and that will also redirect to our Hanukkah Carol say.
Yes. Yes.
Have you ever heard? You probably know Sammy Buck and Dan Acquisto. Have you ever heard the song they wrote about all the different ways to spell Hanukkah?
No, but that's going to be Harrison's favorite song now.
I'll send it to you guys. It's
the original title of the play was A Hanukkah Carol, or with 14 alternate spelling. So.
Yes, I spelled it all. I think 16 definite ways.
It's called. Their song is called, I think, Hanukkah, whatever way you spell it, and Hanukkah is spelled with C's and H's and extra K's in parentheses.
Well, live your truth.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this song is just from the spirit of Hanukkah present comes to visit Chava, and this fairy, the spirit is the Hanukkah fairy, come to life to haunt her and bring her Hanukkah joy.
It's kind of a blend of the Ghost of Christmas Present, who is a joyous kind of Santa-like figure already in the Christmas Carol, and Harry's memories of the Hanukkah fairy.
Performed by Rob.
Oh yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
right.
gentlemen.
Me and
Yes.
Katie Luke.
Yes, Rob is also a terrific performer who has performed for me on at least one occasion.
And
I don't mean like I made him dance for me. I mean he read something I wrote.
I remember the one occasion, so I was trying to think if there were private occasions.
I think there's just the one occasion. Right. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Ho, ho, ho!
Oh my God, you're the Hanukkah. No, you can't be. No.
Don't be shy.
Go away.
There is magic to be showed off. Come on over. Take your load off. Don't be shy.
You're not real.
Don't be shy. You've been selfish and unpleasant, so you mustn't let the present pass you by.
Okay, good night.
And once we peer into the here and now, you might just feel a shift. So be present for your present, 'cause the present is a gift.
You know what else is a gift? You leaving. How about I get that for Hanukkah?
Ho, ho, ho. Chava, you're sounding a little angry.
Okay, fine. At least you brought food.
Have a nosh.
Oh, it's kosher.
You've been vacuous and vicious, but there's bottomless canisius. Have a nosh.
Is it all kosher?
Have a nosh. Kid, this moment's all we've got. Come on, give in and have a latke. Hamantash. In the past you had a conscience, but your conscience went adrift. So dig in, enjoy the present, 'cause the present is a gift.
Fine. Triangle cookies are good. Whatever. So you're gonna make me run too?
Ho, ho, ho. Do I look like someone who runs? We fly.
How am I supposed to fly?
Touch my robe.
What?
Come on, I promise not to bite you. What's in store just might excite you. Touch my robe.
Nah, I'm good.
Touch my robe.
That's f***ing weird.
Just reach out, there's nothing to it. I can't leave until you do it. Touch my robe.
Fine.
It's my favorite time of year. It's when your spirit starts to live. I present to you the present, 'cause the present is a gift.
Thank you again to Rob Berliner, Harrison Bryan, and Aaron Kenny for sharing with us some of their show, A Hanukkah Carol, or GELT Trip, the musical. They won me over from the first footnote in the script, because I am a dork for footnotes. Before we move on to the second part, I just want to throw a couple of things at you. For those of you who may not be aware, but I'm sure many of you are aware, New York suffered some catastrophic flooding back in January when a water main at 53rd and Lexington burst, thereby flooding the bottom two levels of St. Peter's Church, where we have been in residence for 20 some odd years. Thankfully, the damage to our archives and our materials was less than we feared, but it did mean that we are currently sort of sort of out on our butts and don't have a current and offices or location. We do have a location lined up for several events coming up in the fall, which I will tell you about shortly. But in the meantime, we would love it if you would be willing to send us some of your hard-earned money, or don't if you don't want to do that. That's fine too, but we'd love it if you did. You can go to the website that's right here below me, www.yorktheater.org/support/donate. You can also text York to 44321 to donate. You can also go to this link right here, secure.qgive.com/event/York Theater, to participate in our fall auction. We're auctioning off some fabulous stuff, some of which would have been in the kind of thing we would have auctioned off at our Oscar Hammerstein Gala last year, except we didn't have an Oscar Hammerstein Gala last year for obvious reasons. But we do have one coming up this year. This year, we are giving the Oscar Hammerstein Award for Lifetime Achievement in Musical Theater to the magnificent writing team of Richard Maltby Jr. and David Shire, who utterly deserve this terrific award. We'll also be giving the York Founders Award to a terrific member of our community. I believe it's Elisa Lodi Stein this year, who is excellent herself. I should have written that down, and I'm sorry. That's going to be coming on November 1st. But before that coming up, we have, and that's going to be at the Edison Ballroom. Before that coming up, we have our long delayed and hopefully long awaited 50th anniversary concert. Yes, the York has been around for 50 years, actually 51 at this point. But it was 50 last year when we first planned it. And that's going to be on September 20th. On October 18th, we're presenting a concert version of Blue Roses, which is a musical version of The Glass Menagerie. Not a joke, I swear. Written by Nancy Ford of Gretchen Cryer and Nancy Ford, and Nimi Turk, who is a longtime performer turned writer. And that is a stunningly beautiful show that should not work, but really totally works. And that's got a terrific cast. It's got Howard McGillen, Jeff Crady, Piper Goodeve, and the magnificent Anita Gillette playing Amanda. And that's going to be on October 18th. And both of those shows are going to be at the Theater at St. Jean's, which is at Lexington, and I want to say 77th. Again, I should have written this down, but forgot to write this down. I should know this, but I don't. I feel bad about that. And then finally, also at the Theater at St. Jean's, we'll be finally presenting Cheek to Cheek, Irving Berlin in Hollywood, the show we were about to go into rehearsals for in March of 2020 when everything went to hell. And that's going to begin performances on November 23rd. That is a show about made up of the songs and stories of Irving Berlin from his time in Hollywood. It is directed and choreographed by four-time Tony nominee Randy Skinner, and has a book by a cabaret stalwart and excellent writer in general, Barry Kleinbord. And that begins performances on November 23rd and runs through January 22nd. Again, I should have written all this down, but I only wrote down a few things. I wrote down the start dates. So please give us your money, or don't. If you don't want to give us your money, at least click like or on the video and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or just like us and follow us on Facebook if that's where you're watching it. Or don't do any of that. I can't make you. So next up, we're going to see part 2 of this evening's evening. Oh, thank you. Rob has looked this up for me. The Theater at St. Jean is at 150 East 76th Street between Lexington and 3rd. Yes, Lexington and 76th. It's a beautiful space. It used to be the old Da Capo Opera space, but since the Da Capo Opera is no longer operational, it's been turned into a regular use theater, and so it is. And we're going to be there this fall and perhaps this spring as well. Who knows? I don't know. Nobody tells me anything. And so, with all of that out of the way, let's move on to the second half of tonight's evening. I'm going to bring up the writers of Christmas with the Almost Stars, composer Derek Gregor, lyricist Phoebe Kreutz, and co-librettist Jake McKenna. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Seth. This is awesome.
Absolutely. So, tell us a bit of how you guys came to this project. Let me put away that banner that I should have put away a while ago. Tell me a bit about how you guys came to this project.
I guess the easiest way to explain it is that our producer and the conceiver of the show, his name's Michael Whitney. He can't be with us tonight, but he sends his best, and he'll be watching later. He came to me and said he wants to do a kind of holiday show that's super producible, super just like bare bones, build that into the actual scenario of the setting, which we'll get into. And he brilliantly conceived it like that. And then he came to me and I said, I'd love to do the music. And then I assembled the rest of the team. So I knew Phoebe, I'd worked with her on something else. Right before that, Jake's been a friend for years. So that's how it came to be.
Terrific. So Michael had the initial idea not just to do a holiday show, but specifically to do this story.
Yep.
Excellent. So tell us a bit.
I should say he had a general framework of a concept. Gotcha. But then when our amazing book writers stepped in, they actually ran with it. So he is the conceiver, but it would be totally wrong to say that Phoebe and Jake didn't actually write the book to this show.
No, I did not mean to. I did not mean to imply that. Yeah, absolutely not.
There we go.
No.
And then
So tell us a bit.
Like Whitney, and yeah.
So tell us a bit about that plot of this show.
Now I'll pass it off to Phoebe and Jake.
Go ahead, Phoebe. Or you want me to do it?
So, go ahead, do it.
So basically, the concept of the show is it is a 60s era Christmas holiday special that's taking place in a fabulous hotel in Lake Tahoe. And we have a gigantic roster of stars of stage and screen of the time who are supposed to come take part in this TV special. And a gigantic winter storm, basically one way or the other, makes it so that none of them are available to show up for the TV special. And so they have to use what they can find at the hotel in Lake Tahoe to come up with a fabulous holiday TV special, and hilarity ensues.
Excellent. It does indeed. This is another script where I read it and I was laughing out loud the whole way through. And people who know how I feel about a lot of the stuff I read will know that is a really high compliment for me to actually laugh while reading a script.
Seth is
so
his heart is dead.
I offered in this auction that we're doing to let someone bid on the chance to be insulted by me, but the idea just didn't fly. Yeah.
That could be an OnlyFans you could run.
Yes, it'll be only enemies.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So why don't we play the first song we're going to play tonight, which is Your Own Weird Star. So tell us a bit about how that song fits into the show.
Well, this song actually comes kind of towards the end of the show, but we thought it was such a great rousing number. We thought we'd put it in first tonight. This is one of our leads is a casino singer named Tommy Palermo, and he's a washed up former Hollywood star, and he's been just wasting away at the casino. Through hilarious misadventures, he sings this song to the young man he's just discovered is his son, and also all of America via the broadcast. This is sung by the great Nick Cohn, who you can see he even set decorated himself in the background with a Santa hat. So he brought a little Christmas in July to all of us.
Yes, and people and longtime Yorkies may recall, Nick, if you saw the reading of Peter Kellogg and Stephen Weiner's The Rivals that we did about 2.5 years ago, Nick was in that with a very thick accent, intentionally so. Helps if I play the video instead of just...
You got a dream. It sounds crazy to some. You got your eyes on a golden tomorrow that might never come. But if you're a real man, and I think that you are, you gotta walk down your own nutty path. You gotta follow your own weird star. Your star may be stupid, or some people say. Your star may be nice, but way too expensive or secretly gay. But think of those wise men who came from afar when they gave golden perfume to a baby. That's how they followed their own weird star. Oh, take it from me, I've seen a lot. Most of my dreams meant diddly squat, but I held on, I gave it a shot, and I'd do it all again unless I got a better offer. Life can be funny, not funny, haha. Some days you feel like a big golden goose, and the next you're foie gras. You might trade your future to sing in a bar. You might lose the love of your life and the chance to know your own son. You might regret every choice that you made, like the one that you made long ago, to pretend that you are Italian. You might die alone, but at least you'll have known you followed your own weird star. Merry Christmas.
He can sing a little.
Just a little.
Man, that guy doesn't do things by halves, does he?
No, he really doesn't. I feel like, is he the only person whose credits include both Avenue Q and the Phantom of the Opera?
Oh, I didn't know he did Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, he played Piangi for a while. I think I may have seen him actually. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, so that is delightful. And Phoebe, you and I go way back to Avenue Q. Derek and I share NYU. Jake, you and I share nothing in particular, but I think you're pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yes. So yeah, I don't really have all that much else to say right now. So why don't we watch the other song? Or if you, no, I'm sorry, I'm tired.
I love it. Let's do it.
Yes. So why don't we watch the other song you brought with us, which is called Big Fat Man. It is not a song about me. I am a small fat man. So tell us a bit about this song.
Jake, you want to take this one?
No, you take it, Phoebe.
Okay. So one of our characters is Mirjana Monroski, who is the #2 Marilyn Monroe impersonator in the Soviet Union, and so she's been sent on a well-wishing mission to America to win over the hearts of Americans, or has she? There's some exciting international intrigue and espionage. Oh, the show has it all. But before we find out about any of that, we we have her singing this song. And I think she sort of introduces it in the intro, but basically it's what is permitted to be sung for the fans of Santa Baby who live in the Soviet Union.
Terrific. And this is Jane Bruce singing, and Jane Bruce is also terrific.
In America, you have this song, Santa Baby, illustrating a woman's romantic involvement with St. Nicholas. In Soviet Union, we have song very similar. Nirjana sing for you now. I am attracted to a big fat man. This is what I said. Somewhat attracted to a big fat man. Right big modern sled. Looking at us side by side, you might not think it's true. For he is bloated, pale and wide, and I am boopity-doo. But I stay attracted to this big fat man. I tell you it's because I like the reciprocity. I give to him, he gives to me. He's a big fat man, a man called Santa Claus. Now I do suggestive dance. I don't mind his whiskers and his flabby belly roll, 'cause when I give him access to my youth and beauty, he gives me lots of coal. Coal is very valuable in Soviet Union. Young men may come along with better breath, but they don't give me pause. I prefer the benefit of tit for tat and tat for tit with a big fat man. A big fat man. And no fat man is fatter than a man called Santa Claus.
I like that. It's good.
What a babe.
She nailed that one.
Yeah, she does.
Hubba.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Phoebe and Gregor, Phoebe and Derek, how did you guys end up starting to work together there on this and on your previous project?
This really amazing person and producer named Ben West, whom you know from his awesome one-man show at the York, had this really cool idea to assemble a team of people who had never worked with each other before and fund a reading, which he put up at the Lincoln Center Library. So he brought Phoebe, me, and this gentleman named T.C. Lind on, gave us a prompt, gave us rehearsal space, gave us actors for to do the reading, gave us a stipend, and just kind of let us go do our thing. And that's a piece that we still care very much about. It's called In a Sunshine State. We're still developing that. And then Phoebe and I were like, this is pretty cool. Like, it was so easy to write those things. But the style of that piece is very different than this. So it was really fun to get a chance to do something that was super kind of wacky musical theater comedy, which is not really what that piece is. And then when Michael came to me with that, I knew Phoebe was the right person for that. And then Jake is the funniest person I've ever met in my life. So I just said, let's sprinkle him in there and see what happens. And I thought Jake was going to be to be honest, Jake, I thought you were going to be like a joke puncher just with a bunch of zipper one-liners, but you actually structurally kind of really, really had so much gold. And I know that you and Phoebe worked really well in that kind of deeper global way when it comes to the book. But but that's how Phoebe and I met, was through Ben West, who's a complete angel.
And Ben is a terrific performer, director, producer, or idea man, etc., and so forth. And we've co-presented with him a couple of his solo shows about musical theater history at the York, and we did the first two parts of his trilogy, and I don't know if at some point we're going to be doing the third part, but I certainly hope we will. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We have we have a link to the show's website, which is on Michael's website, and there you can hear a couple more songs that you didn't hear tonight, and you can read a bit more about the show. And with both of these shows, Dan, I really hope that the York can be part of them in the future. We'd actually been talking about this show before the world fell apart a year and a half ago, and I hope we can get back to talking about it again soon. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Derek Gregor, Phoebe Kreutz, and Jake McKenna.
And Michael Whitney, not here, but
yes, Michael Whitney,
brilliant,
who is also a lovely man.
And he's a genius at putting together such an interesting concept.
Great. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Seth.
And thank you, audience members, for joining us tonight. One of the things that really attracted me to the York in the first place, when I started coming to see shows here when I was in high school, which was, God help us all, 20 some odd years ago, was the dedication to new work, to new musical theater, because there is nothing in this world that I love more than new musical theater. Well, maybe cheese, but new musical theater mostly. Like, you can't eat new musical theater, but you can't listen to cheese. I mean, you probably can listen to cheese, but it's not really going to go anywhere. So I like to think that in my time as literary manager, which is nowhere near over, but that I have been a good steward of that continued dedication to new work. So once again, thank you for joining us tonight. Please join us for our upcoming events, the ones I told you about. You can find all about those on our website, which is www.yorktheater.org. And yes, thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Seth Christenfeld. You have been an excellent audience, and we'll see you soon at the theater, I hope. Good night.